In this video, we'll be looking at a great method to find same niche related expired domains that are in your niche that you can use to 301 redirect in the link structures that incorporate the 301 redirect practice. On the screen right now, you can see one of the superlink structures that have 301 redirect domains within the structure. Okay, so what does a 301 redirect domain do? Well, basically, what you are doing when you 301 redirect a domain to another domain, you are saying that this 301 domain has now transferred to this site. So if you're trying to reach this 301 site, you can find what you want at the main domain it is pointing to. So in SEO terms, any backlinks that point to the 301 site will now be redirected and point to the site it has been redirected to. Sounds quite complicated, but it's not really. PBNers do a version of this with their PBN sites where they use plugins like Link Juice Keeper, which redirects all pages that no longer exist to the home page. The result of which points the backlinks that point to those 404 pages which no longer exist to the home page, so that the site doesn't lose the authority provided by the sites linking to those now non-existent pages. But we can actually 301 redirect entire sites to another site and pass on the link benefits of the receiving domain. This in turn boosts the power and authority of the receiving site. Sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? So then why isn't this the number one SEO technique in the world? Well, although there's nothing wrong with 301 redirecting sites, it is really meant for legitimate purposes. I had a client once that built their site on a .co.uk site. They later wanted to create their site on a .com site using the same domain name. What they did was create the same content on the .com site and 301 redirected the .co.uk site to the com site. Google was quite happy with that, and the site is doing very well. And this is really the main reason why 301 redirects are in place. If, however, the site owners thought, this works well, let's 301 redirect dozens of domains to our site and get great rankings, well, Google will not tolerate that because it would probably raise a red flag, as it would be abusing the 301 practice. What we are doing is similar to the site that I just showcased. We will find a domain with decent metrics and one that has less than 100 backlinks that are in the same niche as my res or mini site, and I 301 redirect that domain. Now those backlinks will have a nice authority boosting effect on the res or mini site, but it won't raise any red flags with Google, partly because the res or mini sites are a few steps away from my money site, but also because the res or mini site link acquisition was small enough to be non-suspect to Google. For our link structure, however, the power is spread throughout the superlink structure, which ultimately boosts the money site. The 301 redirect is so far removed from the money site that it is completely safe, as if there was a danger in it anyway. We are maintaining safe SEO, remember, so we want the power coupled with the safety. Now we don't want to overdo things, so we will keep the velocity down and wait a couple of weeks. Then we do the same again. We find a nice domain with good metrics and 301 direct it to our res or mini site, or to one of our other res or mini sites. We can do this process quite safely every 2 weeks, over a 6 to 8 period, and Google won't batter an eyelid. If you do this with some or all of your res or mini sites in the link structure, you'll be pumping some powerful link juice to your money site. all in stealth mode, and all the time of reducing the number of direct linking backlinks, which Google is really not bothered about. You do want to avoid doing multiple 301 redirects to your money site. Just stick to one and a second one at maximum, and they need to be very, very highly focused on same niche, same kind of backlinks, okay? Because otherwise it's going to be standing out as not such a good practice. But where we're stepping back a few tiers, this isn't a problem. And we're only looking at backlinks which have less than 100 backlinks, so it's not a big number that we're passing on. So it stays well under the radar. Okay, I'm going to show you where you can find 301 domains that have expired that you can redirect. This is a huge time-saving exercise and a powerful safe practice. Now, purchasing domains for 301 redirects is very much similar to purchasing domains for when you're buying them for restored expired sites or for your mini sites. Any slight differences I'll go over in this video. What you want to do is go to your GoDaddy account. It's auctions.godaddy.com. Log in, you have to log in, and then click Advanced Search. And I've set out the criteria that you need to do on this advanced search. Now the default is exact match here, and you don't want to have exact match. You want to set it to contains, and then you want to put a word that is quite generic to your niche. If my niche is cellulite, then anything that's around my niche, any word, I can look for in this search that I'm doing. Well, just to cut a long story short, cellulite can be associated with weight loss, and they're certainly same niche. Okay, so what I'm looking for is weight. If I look for cellulite, I'm not going to return many results, so I won't do that. I could do that, but I'm not going to in this test. If your niche was plumbing, you'd put plumbing. And if your niche was pets, then you might put dog or cat or anything like that. But you look something that's going to be most popular as a word within your niche to find the most domains. For the extensions, set .com, org, net, co, us, info and biz. When we're doing the 301, we're just looking for a minimum age of 1 and anything upwards, so you can just leave maximum blank. I also want to look for auction domains, so I'm setting this here as up to 10 days. So that means that if there's a domain that's going to be up for auction, it could be up for auction date closing within 10 days, so that's what that means. If I set it here, it means it will close in 1 day's time. Then I'm going to click all 4 of these, so now I'm going to be looking for auctions and public buy now, so domains that I can purchase right now. An auction means I have to bid for it at the time, so it's a bit more complex bidding for an auction, but it's even still it's quite straightforward. Then there's the price. Minimum is 5. That's the lowest you can buy a domain for, $5. Maximum, well, I've set it at 100. Really, an auction price starts at $12 and could go upwards. So I'll put in $12 just to have a figure to start with. Next thing to do is click Run Search. GoDaddy now brings back a whole load of domains, and this box here with the green arrow means that I can click on this and download it. So clicking there, you'll see it's here, going to the download. So you can open this up and then tidy up the sheet a little bit. So all you're interested in at this stage is the domain. So you can clear all of these, and you might want to know what sort of sale type it is, what that means is it an auction or is it a buy now, for example. Now what you need to do is to see how many domains we've got. So there's 440 here. And you should copy all of these domains and then open up URL Profiler. Now we cover URL Profiler in Module 6 where we're looking at building a private network. So this is URL Profiler. What I've done is I've set the Moz for free. I've added the URLs into this box here and I've clicked Run Profiler. And what this has done, this has collected all of the Moz metrics for these URLs, for these domains. So URL Profiler is a free piece of software that you can trial for 14 days. After that you'll have to purchase it. But if you're purchasing domains on a regular basis, I would highly recommend that you get this because you can run 500 domains every day and get the metrics on that. So it's a great tool. Now I've run the test in the URL Profiler and I've exported the spreadsheet which I have open now. What I want to do is sort these out in a specific order. So I'm going to highlight these columns. And you see here the first column is domain. This is the domain that which I'm potentially going to buy. This is the domain authority, the page authority, and these two I'm not really factoring in at the moment. So what I'm going to do is click on data and then sort, and I'm sorting by Moz domain authority and from largest to smallest. Click OK, and that gives me a reasonable number here of domains that I can look at further. So I'm going to check the first 10, and I've already done that, so I'm going to show you the results that I've got. So the first site is weightnags.com. Going to the summary, you can see that there's 71 backlinks over 15 referring domains. I'm not too interested in the trust flow or the citation flow. I'm happy enough with the Moz metrics, but I'm looking at the anchor text here. And the anchor text is brand, URL, well that's pretty much most of what it is, brand and URL. I'm happy with that, brand and URL, that's fine for that. The site's clearly about weight loss. So what I would do, I would purchase this domain. I'd have to first check that it's indexed in Google, which is what I would need to do prior to purchasing. If it's indexed in Google, and I'm happy with the anchor text, then I'll purchase this domain. So then I can make a note on the spreadsheet here. So I highlight it yellow to purchase. So that's a domain authority of 20, page authority of 28. Decent domain. Okay, the next one. Let's have a look at this. So here we see in the cloud, the anchor text cloud, weight, health. It's all about the niche that I'm interested in. So that's all very good. Look at the summary to see the number of backlinks. There's quite a lot of backlinks, 1,779. I'll come to this in a minute about 301s. And in fact, for my niche, I would probably want to use this one as a restored expired site, purely because of the quantity of backlinks. But I'll cover that a little later in this video. But I'm certainly very interested in this one. If we look at the previous one we just looked at, here, the number of backlinks is 71. So that's a decent number of backlinks for a 301 redirect. But I'll give you those statistics and numbers later in this video. So you can see here now I've highlighted it yellow. So I've got yellow equals 301 redirect, blue equals res site, mini site. So that means that I would use this one for a res site. Alright, so let's go to the next one and have a look to see where we get with that. So this is one I would not want to have. This is a Vuitton, that's UGG. This is a spammed out domain. So I'm not interested in that at all. We'll go to the next one. We've got the same thing here again. We've got a spammed out domain. We do have some brand or URL here, but mostly it's spammed out domain, and I'm not interested in that. Let's look at the next one. So this looks good. We've got a lot of in the cloud of diet, loss, weight loss, dieting. So all of that looks good from an anchor text point of view. There's 85 backlinks. Basically, if I'm under 100 backlinks, then I'm happy to have that as a 301 redirect. So then I'll make a note of this with accessweightloss.com. So this one I'm marking up as a yellow as a 301 redirect. Again, let's go to the next one. So here we've got another one with a lot of spammy anchor text. Not interested in that. Next one, we've got weight loss, Garcinia, sleep. So we've got health. This is looking fine for this one. Don't mind about the odd strange anchor text. That's not an issue at all. Let's have a look at the number of backlinks this has. 812. So that's a fair few. Too many for a 301 redirect domain, but I am happy to have this as a res or a mini site. So that's weightlosshealthydiets.com. This is this one, so I'll mark that up in blue. Okay, go to the next one. So I'm only going over the first 10. So this is looking good from a anchor text cloud. It's all weight loss. Have a look at the number of backlinks. 81, so that's fine for a 301. So that's going to weight loss diet for you. This one is a yellow. Go to the next one. So it's 411 backlinks. Too many for a 301 redirect. But from a res site or a mini site, that's fine. So I'll mark that down as a mini site or a res site. So that's top diet plans for weight loss. Top diet plans for weight loss. So I'll mark that up in blue. I think I'm just on to the next one, which is the last one in this test. Again, this is looking good. We've got a cellulite one here, which is I'm interested in. That's all looking good. Have a quick look at the summary. Got 116. Well, I'd mentioned about 100 backlinks would be fine for a 301, but actually I'm more interested in this domain as a res site. So I'll mark that as a res site, but I could use it as a 301 redirect if I wanted to. So I'll just make a note of that. So that's effective weight loss success. So I'll mark this up as a blue one. Okay, so as you can see from this quick experiment, I've got 3 301 redirect domains that I can use, but I could go further down here and then I could look further at page authority as well. Let's say, for example, this is the site which I've purchased and I'm going to do a 301 redirect. All I need to do is check this box here on the left and then go to forward, hover over it and then click forwarding domains. Now in this section what you do is click on here. What we're doing is you are not forwarding this domain. So we do want to forward it. So add one now. So click on that, forward to, and then we have to do the exact URL. So let's say, for example, I'm forwarding it to this domain. So this domain is an HTTPS. So let's copy this and then go back to the GoDaddy. What I need to do is collect forward to HTTPS because that's the first part of the URL, and then I'll enter in the domain itself, removing the font section. So that's completed. I need to keep the 301 permanent, that's what I want. I don't want to pick the 302. Forward settings, you can choose forward only or forward with masking. Because we're several stages back, it doesn't really matter which one we choose. So I'm just going to choose forward only. And update my name servers and DNS settings to support this change, recommended. Okay, so just keep that checked and then click add, and then that's the whole job done. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. It's as simple as that.